I told you to stop mowing the lawn. You are destroying the property value, and you will stop right now. Yeah, those were the first words out of Karen's mouth that morning. And honestly, if you told me a year ago I'd end up the main character in a neighborhood drama that'd have half my town buzzing, I'd have laughed you out of my yard. But there I was, 8 a.m., sharp, standing on my front grass, trimmer in hand, when those sirens sliced through the morning calm like a hot knife. Two police cars rolled right up to my house, lights flashing, and for a second I just stared, wondering what the heck kind of world I'd woken up in. That was the moment everything changed in Sunny Meadows, and not a single person, least of all Karen herself, could have guessed how much chaos a couple of hedges and a stubborn old man could stir up. But hang on, let me back up a sec. My name's Harold Thompson, 72 years old, retired high school history teacher, and a proud resident of Sunny Meadows for a little over 2 decades now. I moved here with my late wife, Margaret. She's been gone 5 years, but let me tell you, I still see her in every corner of this house, every rose bush, every sunbeam in our little backyard. Margaret loved her garden, and every time I'm out here up to my elbows in dirt, I feel like I can hear her humming some old tune. Makes the work lighter somehow. We bought into Sunny Meadows when the HOA was just a bunch of folks looking out for each other. Rules? Sure. Don't let your grass grow to your knees. Keep your shutters painted. Nothing wild. But the rules weren't the point. It was the people, you know? All that changed about 3 years back. Our old HOA president, Dorothy, a sweetheart, always baked cookies for the meetings, moved away, and that's when Karen Mitchell decided she was running the show. Now, I'm not the sort to judge someone by their pantsuit, but Karen's whole personality was a pantsuit. Immaculate hair, clipboard like an extra limb, and this looked like she just stepped off a corporate ladder somewhere. She didn't just enforce the rules, she weaponized them. First month, she sent out more violation notices than I'd seen in 20 years. Mrs. Chin got nailed for a garden gnome being too tall by 2 inches. The Johnsons? Fined for a basketball hoop that had been there longer than Karen had lived here. And poor Mr. Rodriguez almost got legal action for painting his door a shade of blue she decided wasn't approved, even though 3 other doors on the block matched. Me? I kept my head down, kept my lawn trimmed, painted the house beige. No sense poking the bear. But you could feel it in the air. Where neighbors used to chat over fences, folks started scurrying inside at the first hint of Karen's heels clicking down the sidewalk. Nobody wanted to catch her eye, not unless you fancied a violation letter in your mailbox next morning. Then about 6 months back, it got personal. My neighbor Jessica, a single mom, works 2 jobs to keep a roof over her and her daughter Emma's heads. Couldn't keep up with the yard. Grass a little high, flower beds getting wild. I figure, what the heck, I've got time, let me help her out. She was so grateful, almost broke down right there, and little Emma helped me plant some marigolds just like I used to do with my grandkids. Felt good, like the old Sunny Meadows. Next day, bam, letter in my mailbox. Violation. Unauthorized yard work on another resident's property. I kid you not. Turns out the HOA handbook, Section 12, subsection 4, says you can't so much as pull a weed for your neighbor unless you're a licensed professional or have written board approval. Ridiculous, right? Karen loved it. Gave her another reason to swing that gavel like she was running a court instead of a cul-de-sac. So I took it to the next HOA meeting, stood up, explained myself, talked about how helping neighbors is the whole point of community. Karen shot me down, stone-faced, arms crossed. Rules are rules, she said. If we let one person ignore the rules, property values plummet. The neighborhood goes downhill. I tried to reason with her, but she doubled down. If Jessica couldn't keep up, maybe she should move somewhere more affordable. That one stung, not just for me, but for everyone else in that room. But folks were scared to say a word. I could see it in their eyes. Nobody wanted to end up on Karen's bad side. But fear's a lousy way to live, you know? Over the months, Karen doubled down. Clipboard patrol every Saturday, weekly notes for the tiniest things. But cracks started showing. The Johnsons refused to take down the basketball hoop. Mrs. Chun added 2 more gnomes out of spite. Jessica's yard? Still beautiful, mostly thanks to a few rogue helpers who remembered what neighborliness looked like. Still, I kept to my Saturday routine. Out by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, coffee in hand, trimmer buzzing. The rules said no excessive noise before 9 o'clock, but my old electric trimmer barely registered above a couple of robins chirping. It was Texas, after all. Do your yard work before the sun turns your bones to soup. So picture this. A perfect Saturday, late spring, sun just warming up, and me, minding my own business, shaping the hedges out front. I see Karen on her porch, arms crossed in her bathrobe, glaring at me like I'd just run over her petunias. She starts filming me on her phone. Weird, but hey, let her, nothing to hide. Then she stomps over, still in her bathrobe. Rare, because usually she's dressed like she's running for mayor. Harold, do you know what time it is? She barks. I tell her, 8:15, Karen, good morning to you too. Too early for that kind of noise, she says. You're disturbing the whole neighborhood. I look around, birds, maybe a dog barking a block away, otherwise quiet as can be. Karen, I've done yard work at this time for 15 years. HOA says no excessive noise. This isn't excessive. She goes full steam. As HOA president, I determine what's excessive. Power tools before 9 o'clock? Excessive. Now, I'm not a combative guy, but this was nonsense. Sorry, Karen, but that's not how it works, I tell her, trying to keep my cool. Bring it up at the next meeting if you want the rule changed. Her face turns red. She's not used to being told no. If you don't stop right now, I'm calling the police. And I'll admit it, I laughed. Police? For yard work. She storms back inside, and I shake my head, figuring she's bluffing. 15 minutes later, sirens. I freeze, trimmer still in hand, as 2 cop cars pull up and Karen comes out, this time in one of her blindingly bright pantsuits, pointing and yelling. That's him. That's the man. 4 officers pile out, neighbors come out of their houses, and suddenly, I'm in the middle of the show. Mrs. Chun on her porch, the Johnsons, Jessica, and little Emma. Everyone's watching. One of the officers, Martinez, a big guy with kind eyes, talks to me, asks what's going on. Karen tries to butt in, but his partner, Officer Brennan, gently asks her to step aside. I explain, just trimming my hedges, electric trimmer, started at 7:45, been doing it for years. Karen interrupts, claiming I started at 7:30, says I got aggressive. Martinez listens, checks my trimmer. These things barely make any noise, Brennan says. Karen keeps hollering about noise ordinances and how HOA rules say 9 o'clock. Officer Martinez, come as you please, explains. City ordinance says 8 a.m. For yard work on weekends, and HOA rules don't override city law. Anyone else disturbed? He asked the neighbors. Silence. Then Mrs. Chun speaks up. Harold does his yard work every Saturday. Never a problem. One by one, folks back me up. Karen's face goes crimson. They're all lying. This is a conspiracy. Martinez levels with her. Ma'am, making false reports is a serious matter. No law's been broken, and calling 911 for a neighbor's hedge trimmer isn't exactly police business. Karen starts backpedaling, but the damage is done. Martinez gives me the all-clear and gives Karen a warning about wasting police resources. But wait, twist time. One of the rookie cops spots Karen's car. Registration expired by 3 months. That's actually a violation, Brennan says, and Karen ends up getting the only ticket of the day. The irony just about killed me. Neighbors start gathering around, some hiding grins, some patting me on the back. Karen, mortified, promises this isn't over. And you know what? I believed her. Later that day, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Chun, Frank from 2 doors down, Jessica, they all come over. Harold, she's not going to let this go. We need to organize. Turns out Karen's hired a lawyer, her go-to for intimidation. I'm worried she'll try to sue me or slap a lien on my house. But Frank's done his homework. According to the bylaws, residents can call a special meeting and vote to remove a board member. We just need a majority. For the first time in ages, people are ready to push back. I try for peace first, writing Karen a letter, asking to talk things out like adults. I get nothing but stonewalling and more threats. Then she pulls her last stunt, calls an emergency HOA meeting, tries to slap a $2,000 assessment on every homeowner for enhanced security and legal fees, basically to punish anyone who supported me. Problem is, the bylaws say any assessment over $1,000 needs a 30-day notice and approval from 75% of homeowners. Karen's meeting? 2 days notice, no proper vote. Illegal as heck. Long story short, the neighborhood rallies. Frank contacts the management company. At the emergency meeting, Linda Hernandez from Summit Management shows up with the bylaws and receipts. Karen's caught dead to rights. Illegal meeting, misuse of funds, paying her lawyer with HOA money. The room erupts. Someone calls for a vote of no confidence. Linda steps in, strips Karen of her title right there. She's out, pending a full audit and new elections. Neighbors stand up, share stories of her bullying, and you can feel this huge weight lifting off the community. For the first time in years, people are laughing, hugging, and actually talking to each other. Karen? She walks out in tears, her lawyer trailing behind, her grip on Sunny Meadows broken for good. The new board is elected, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Chun, Frank, Jessica as secretary. They toss the silly rules, set up a fund to help folks like Jessica, and get back to what matters, neighbors helping neighbors. A few months later, after the audit proves Karen misused $15,000 of HOA money, she quietly sells her house and moves away. One day, I get a letter from her, handwritten and full of apologies. Says she's seeing a therapist, try to understand why she acted the way she did. I write back, wish her well, and forgive her, because in the end, that's what builds a real community. Not just the absence of conflict, but grace. So life goes on. Saturday mornings, I'm out with my trimmer, not a cop in sight. Jessica and Emma come over, give me a little plant as a thank you. Emma calls me a hero, but honestly, I just did what any neighbor should do. And now, the street's alive again. Kids playing ball misses. Chen's gnomes proudly on display. Folks chatting over coffee. And somewhere, I like to think Margaret's smiling, watching it all. You know, it's funny. This whole mess started with a stubborn old man and a hedge trimmer, but what we all got out of it was so much bigger. We learned that rules are there to serve people, not the other way around. We learned that kindness, standing up for your neighbor, for what's right, can ripple through a whole community. And we learned that sometimes all it takes is one person saying no more for others to find their own courage. So, tell me, what would you have done? Is it better to stand your ground and risk the wrath of someone in power, or keep your head down and hope things get better? Drop your thoughts, your stories, and where you're watching from in the comments. Share your own tales of HOA headaches or neighborly kindness. And if you believe communities should be built on compassion, not fear, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going, because every neighborhood, no matter how small, deserve a little more sunshine and a little less Karen.